So this week, the final season Fresno State as a Mountain West member against Mountain West Conference play starts at Hawaii. And this is a very long and bitter series. It's not as long as, say, San Jose State or San Diego, but it's just as bitter in many ways. Hawaii was literally the only team Pat Hill would ever run up the score to if he got the chance, for example. And whatever rivalry has a head coach being allegedly thrown at from the stand and hit with a screwdriver. And it's a pity that trophy was never made, but apparently the two radio stations in Fresno and Honolulu had a golden screwdriver trophy. It was a cheap looking thing. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. You really need to look at it. But yeah, this is a very underrated rivalry, and it's going to end as a conference series. And for the foreseeable future, outside of bowl matchups, after this game. And, more often than not, Fresno State leads it 30 to 25 to 1. And more often than not, though, in my lifetime at least, Fresno State has never been Hawaii when it truly mattered in a national setting. Hawaii only had like 2007, I think, when they made the Sugar Bowl, when they had Colt Brennan as a real figure. That Fresno State could have upset, but Hawaii has upset the Bulldogs numerous times when they were ranked. The most recent time was in 2021, after the couple games after the famous Jake Haener drive down UCLA in the Rose Bowl against the top 15 ranked Bruins. They also beat the Bulldogs the week after Boise State in 2001. Both times on the island. So and that's what they're going this week. So yeah, it's not a fun trip. But Hawaii has also won 3 out of the last 4 meetings overall. Should not have won it last year. If I had this channel going last year, I might have gone banned. I had so many bad things to say about that blatant steal by the refs. I'm not really going to go into that here. Shouldn't. And I'll link a video down below that will go more in depth about the rivalry in general. But this is about this game and about what the Warriors are right now. The Warriors are led by former head coach, former QB, Timmy Chain. If you're a Fresno State fan, you know that name. I remember in 2004 when Hawaii came here and Pat Hill buried Hawaii as badly as he could. Like I said, they were the only team under Drew Jones that he would try and run up the score of. They are 3-1, like the Bulldogs. They are just coming off a victory over Portland State, 23-3. It wasn't particularly impressive. It was very much them just trying to get out of a win. That's what they did. So you have to give them credit for that. It wasn't a dominant performance like Fresno State. Chain is also on the hot seat this year. He's 16-26. He's got to prove this year or else he's probably out. And they seem to have gotten better every year. They went 3-10 his first season, and they won 5 games the last 2 years. So they got to make a bowl this week. On offense, they play the signature run and shoot. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do if you're at Hawaii. You have to play the run and shoot. I don't care who you are. It's just what you do, especially since Drew Jones. I think they're going to have their quarterback, Micaiah Alejo. I'm going to pronounce their names wrong. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. I think he was hurt the second game and missed the last 2, but I have no doubt that he's going to be there in some form or fashion. The guy who started in between, I think his name was Luke Weaver. He did a pretty good job. But it's going to be Micaiah if he starts, and I think they rested him because they knew they didn't need him. Kind of like what Fresno State did last week with E.J. Warner. What's he for the year? He is, let's see here. Yeah, he's 40 for 70, 360 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception in a game and a half. So not particularly impressive numbers for a run and shoot team, but what can you do? When you have a run and shoot team, it means you have wide receivers. One guy that I remember last year is Nick Cena, whatever. Canacle. That's how I pronounce his name. He had 12 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns last year in Fresno. I'm sure he'll have a big game this week. I know he's been listed as questionable, but in my mind, he's going to play. He's from Canada, I think his name is. There's another guy, Ashlock, who was an all-pro. They were both all-conference selections at Mountain West wide receivers. He had another big game against the Bulldogs last year. 3 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown. So far, he's had 26 catches, 245 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So, again, he's a guy that is really going to test our secondary. All right, and our secondary has not been good this year. I'm going to go more in that in a moment. Hawaii runs a 4-2-5 scheme. They're like 35th in the nation in total yards allowed at 274 yards a game, 28th in passing yards allowed, 59th in rushing, and 67 points allowed per game. A lot of that is due to the skew 40-6 loss at Arizona, but still, based on what I've seen them late, coming after watching the Fresno State games when they played Sam Houston, Portland State, even against Stanford, you can run the ball on them, which does play into Fresno State's strength. The Bulldogs want to run the football. They want to have time of possession. All right? That's what they want to do. We've seen that all year long. And the Bulldogs do that. If they get 300 yards rushing, they will win this ball game. But the question is, can they do that? It's really going to come down to the secondary play. As I've talked about in last videos, the secondary play has not been good so far this year for the Bulldogs. Whether from communication issues, just making bad angles, bad missed tackles, or trying to go for an interception instead of just planting a guy for a loss. The secondary has to be on point. The run and shoot is not an offense where if you stop the passing game, they can do much about it. All right? We need to be clear about this. The run and shoot is different. It's kind of like what Air Force does with the triple option in military academies, but it's not quite like that. You have to hit your tackles. I'm going to keep expressing this because it's the truth. All right? I saw people say, like, what about time possession? Does that really matter? Not really. Hawaii doesn't really care that much about time possession. They want to throw the ball, and they like quick scores. So there's a very good chance you'll have a time possession victory over Hawaii, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. So that really doesn't matter as far as I'm concerned. You just got to, when they're ready to hit you, you got to be ready. And Bulldogs are going to have to get a couple interceptions to win. And they will have opportunities. Like I said, they throw the ball a lot. So how can you see this game? Well, it's at 9 o'clock Fresno time. It's not going to be carried by any local stations, unfortunately. But it's very easy to find streaming. I mean, I guess you can go on the Watch Mountain West app, download it on your phone, you should be able to get it. Or if you have Spectrum Sports, watch Dodgers and Lakers, you can get that. I've just been using YouTube. You can find it streaming on YouTube if you want. Shouldn't be that hard to find. And I personally like the Hawaii announcers. They're not as good as when Robert Kakela, or whatever his name was. He's the guy who said after Fresno State Hawaii game, "Good night from the All from America." So again, this is going to be a Hawaii broadcast. Hawaii homers should not bother you. We got our radio guys if you want to listen to them, but I personally like that way more than the Syracuse robots that we have had for the past decade or so. You know, I miss those guys like Hawk Harrelson and guys like that. So, you know, enjoy it for what it is, especially if your team's winning. If they're losing, that's another thing. All right, so you got the game time. You got a preview. Who do I think is going to win? I think the Hawaii Warriors are going to win 30-20 because our secondary has not been good so far this year. Again, I've said this numerous times, but we have allowed too much passing. We have not been good at communication, and that is what Hawaii wants to do, all right? If this game turns into a shootout, we will not win. We are not built to do that, all right? Unless we have Bryson Donaldson and Speedy Luke go off for, 70-yard one-play touchdown runs, which I guess could happen. They're not good at defending the run, so who knows? But I just don't trust it. I don't like it. I don't like the way our secondary has played so far. So, unfortunately, got to give the Warriors the lead here, all right? We're right where the Bulldogs have the same record. I thought they would go in the year. But we'll see what happens. That's why you play the game. The team left a day early to try and get it acclimated. They say running game and defense travels, so we'll see. I hope our pass defense plays a lot better than it has so far. But we will find out tomorrow night. All right? So Bulldog fans, tune in at 9 Fresno time. See what happens. Go Dogs.